What's up, jazz guitar friends? Larry Tamanini here with LT Jazz Guitar. Jazz guitar under 5 minutes. Today it's going to be jazz and blues guitar under 5 minutes. Hey, what's the biggest difference between a jazz blues and a blues blues, right? I started out wanting to be a blues jazz guitar player, and at one time I was the king of the Neshaminy Creek Delta Blues in Humeville, and I got more into jazz as my association with Pat Martino, Dennis Sandoli grew, but I always loved the blues, and I'm very fortunate and happy I have roots in blues music and still listen to quite a few blues guitar players. Jimi Hendrix, still one of my favorites. Albert King, B.B. King, Freddie King, Larry King, Alan King, King Kong Bundy, they're all great. Right? Many kings and many great blues jazz guitar players, right? Kenny Burrell, Grant Green, Wes Montgomery. We don't have to talk about all the great blues-inspired jazz guitar players. So for me, having a balance of both music was very important. But there was a difference between playing a jazz blues and a blues blues. I took 2 choruses over a E blues right there, and I sort of played like a blues blues and a jazz blues, and I threw some of my own stuff in. Before we talk about the major differences, let's talk about the similarities. They're both 12 bars, right? That's really important that we understand the template of the song. Having that 12-bar form to work in is really essential to get mapped out before we start playing anything. And the fact that they're both 12 bars is great. And you can, as long as you know the form, you can, just play an E blues scale and sort of sound like you know what you're doing. As long as you can sort of comp for yourself and understand the form, those are the essential elements you're going to need. So let's talk about the major difference, right? When we're playing a blues blues, you're just playing the 1, the 4, and the 5, right? But there's still elements of turnarounds in that music, okay? You're going there like roughly the same time. You kind of start here, going to your 4, and back to your 1. And you're going to stay there, right? And then you go to your 4. Turnaround, the B, the A, and then your E. So there's your whole 12 bars, right? And you want to maybe have that under your belt, and then you try to go to play a jazz blues, and there's like way more. You can sort of play the blues scale, but there's way more changes. So what's happening here is that the turnaround at the end is very different. Instead of a 5, 4, 1, right? You have a 2, 5, 1. In this case, that's a F sharp minor, a B7, and you have this turnaround, right? Which can turn into other chords, right? There I played E, C sharp, F sharp, B. But there's many things that you can do. So that is a huge difference in how you're going to end the song, because if you're getting to that 5 chord a bar early, well, you know, it's going to sound really, really bad for the whole band. If you're coming from a jazz background and you're playing at a blues jam and you're trying to play those changes over a song that doesn't have that, you know, it's going to be a bad time. You have to be situational blues awareness. Now, another thing that's different in these, in what I played, a couple of the turnarounds that I played were just things that I sort of like to do, like walk-ups, which actually originated, 100 years ago with Robert Johnson and all those great players. I just went straight up. That was just in the first 4 bars, where you kind of work your way up from the E to the E with the G sharp. Now I'm at my 4 chord and I'm doing the same thing, but I'm just sort of taking a slightly different approach to how I'm getting there. And then I'm back to my 1. Go up a half step, create a little tension. Now this part, I went to the diminished chord a lot there to create some tension. Now, here's a 2-5 of the 2. And then just my 5. And then the last turnaround. A turnaround that I played a couple of times there. I did a chromatic one. I did one in whole steps from B. And then I did another one where after I went from my 5 chord, I went to the D7 and then I cycled my way back, D, G, C, F. And I got back to my 1, right? I like to play in the key of E, even though on most jazz gigs it really doesn't happen. But it's a fun key to play in, and I think it's a great guitar key because you can use all the instrument. All right, well, I went way over my 5-minute allotment, but I hope you liked the video. Keep bluesing, keep swinging. I believe both musics are essential to each other. But if you like these videos, hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Bebop.